Hey everyone, thanks for clicking on the video. This is Rachel, and today I wanted to discuss a recent case that was in the news. What made me want to discuss this case is I find the outcome of the case not only surprising but actually quite disgusting. So let me just get to it. As you saw the title of the video, this is concerning a student at Stanford University. His name is Brock Allen Taylor. And last year, he was found raping a young lady there on campus. Apparently, two bike riders were riding by, and they were behind, I guess, some building at the university, and they came upon this guy raping this woman that was laying on the ground. They were behind a dumpster. So what these other young men did is they called out to this guy that they saw raping the woman, and the guy took off running. So they jumped off their bikes, ran after him, and actually caught him. And they held him down until the police got there. Now, the young lady that was being raped, being assaulted, was apparently unconscious, and later they found out that she was drunk. She didn't wake up for several hours. Now, the reason why I find this case quite interesting and basically really disgusting is this case recently went to trial here in 2016, and they went over all the details of the trial, and this young man was actually found guilty. The young lady that stood up, that was raped, stood up in the court and read a 12-page letter that she had written to this rapist. And in the letter, she talks about how she did not consent to this. She didn't even know that it was occurring, and that, you know, the effect that it had on her life, that she felt like her body wasn't even hers anymore. As I mentioned, this Brock was found guilty. Now, here's where I have a problem with what the outcome of the trial was. Before sentencing, this Brock Turner's father stood up and read a statement himself. And what he said in his statement is that he believed that the judge should go easy on his son. He talked about how his son's life has been deeply impacted by, what occurred. He said that his son didn't eat well anymore, didn't have any zest for life, that he would now have to register as a sexual predator, that he couldn't live where he wanted to live, being that he was only 20 years old, that for the rest of his life he would have to register and he couldn't live where he wanted to live. The father goes on to say that he believed that that was punishment enough for his son. He also said that for the 20 minutes that this alleged attack happened, that he thought that the punishment that his son had already suffered was enough, and he asked that the courts be a little lenient on his son because he didn't have a record. He was a good, warm, affectionate kid. Now, the reason why I, cannot believe this, and once again, this is where we see a double standard when it comes to young white males who commit crimes as opposed to young black males who commit crimes. When the judge came back with his sentence, he only gave this young man 6 months. 6 months for brutally raping an unconscious young woman. 6 months. He does have to register as a sexual predator, and he has 3 years probation. Now, what I find so disgusting is not only was the father able to stand there and ask for that bullshit, but the leniency was granted. This young woman sat in that courtroom and was told, yes, he's guilty, but we're going to go easy on him because he's suffered enough. This is why a lot of times women who are victims of rape or, you know, some type of assault along that nature don't report it because of outcomes like this. What the fuck was that judge thinking? What do they mean that he suffered enough? It's because of him that this entire situation even exists. You know, people might want to blame this young woman for being so intoxicated that she put herself in that position. But the fact remains, if that was my son, and I'm speaking of a mother of a son, I could not roll with him when I knew for a fact that he had raped this girl. This is not something that it was her word against him. She didn't even know that it occurred. The reason why they know that it occurred is because those two good Samaritans saved that girl. They came upon this scene, and those young men did the right thing. So as a parent, his father knew that what he was accused of, he actually did. He actually brutally raped that girl behind a dumpster. So for him to stand up in court and not only basically kind of, I guess, agree or absolve him of what he did, but he also stood up there and asked for him to get a lighter sentence. Now, the prosecutor actually wanted 6 years because of the nature of the crime. The young lady was unconscious. And this judge comes back. He could even give him a year, 2 years. He comes back with the sentence of 6 months. And the son of a bitch will probably not even do the 6 months. Now, we all know, had this been a young black man that did something like this, be the victim white, black, green, purple, or whatever, his ass would have done more than 6 years. They would have probably put him away for life. This double standard that we have here in this country is, you know, I'm just even tired of even having to speak on it again. For them to let this young man basically walk after what he did to this young lady is just, it's unbelievable. He will not even go to penitentiary. He will serve his time at the county jail. He won't even be where, you know, like hardened criminals or you know, people who have committed serious felonies, because this is a felony. And basically he just got a slap on the hand. I don't understand. Well, I don't know why I say that. I understand this double standard that they have, you know, where these young white men get away with murder. Think of the young man, again, last year, who I think he killed like 5 people. He in his car, you know, the influenza young man. And they basically, his attorneys said that due to the lifestyle that he had lived, you know, being rich, he never really learned right from wrong. And basically they let him off. And then this year he gets into more trouble. They had to basically, I think, chase him and his mother to Mexico. I believe that's where he fled to. And, you know, had they not just slapped him on the wrist, then maybe the crimes that he committed where they had to get him this time would never have happened. One thing I will say about when they get our boys, they do their time. I don't hear of stories where a black mom is in the courtroom. Well, I don't even think they would listen to her. She wouldn't even been given a voice to stand in there and ask for leniency for her child. But for this young man to only do 6 months is unbelievably unfair. And his father is not showing him any kind of, you know, if you go out here and you commit a crime, then you should expect to receive punishment for it. If he's allowed to get away with this just light sentence, what is he going to do in the future? Look at George Zimmerman. George Zimmerman shot and killed Trayvon Martin, went through that whole trial, got off, and look at him now. He's going around taunting that boy's parents and just, you know, being arrested several more times since then. He's assaulted women, other motorists out on the highway, being stopped carrying guns. What the hell? What the hell? They are now, you know, have Bill Cosby on trial for things that happened 30, 40 years ago, 30 years ago, that no one actually witnessed, is his word against those women, and we're ready to convict him. Be he right or wrong, guilty or not guilty, in the public eye, he's guilty. You know, there's no leniency for Bill Cosby. Those ladies said he did it, and as far as, you know, the media is concerned, he did. But in this young man's case, you know, there were witnesses that actually saw him raping this girl, and he only gets 6 months. 6 months. Wherever that young girl is, I just say, you know, I pray for God to help you get through this, to help give you some comfort in what you're going to endure over, you know, the course of your lifetime. And for this guy, you got away, you know, with the slap on the wrist. You are going to pay for this one day. You'll get it back. As I've stated in several videos, the laws on in the universe, they have a way of correcting every wrong. So while you may have gotten away with it today, you're going to get this back. You're going to pay for what you did, because the universe doesn't allow it to go unpaid. So with that, everyone, I'm going to get out of here. I just want to know what, first of all, had you guys heard about this case? And if you heard about it, what do you think of it? And don't you agree, had this been a young 20-year-old black man that had raped, and we're going to not even say a white girl, we're going to say another, you know, someone of his race, a black girl, his ass would have been in jail. We know that. His ass would have been in jail. They probably would have gave him 25 to life. You know how they go hard on ours. Threw away the key and everything. So I'm going to get out of here. You guys have a great day. And down in the comments, let's talk about this, because I cannot believe they let this bastard only do 6 months. Okay, take care now. Bye-bye.